And we start with a Fox News alert. After 43 long days, the government is now back open.
So the House voting last night to end the longest shutdown in our nation's history. It's nothing to celebrate. President Trump then quickly signing it into law while ripping Democrats for keeping the shutdown going on as long as it did, saying Republicans never wanted this.
But some of the ripple effects are still being felt at our airports across the United States. Nearly 1,000 flights have already been canceled today, hundreds more delayed. The FAA says flight reductions will remain at 6% for now, as more air traffic controllers are getting back to work after going unpaid for 6 weeks.
Right. During the House vote, 6 Democrats crossed the aisle to join most GOP members in finally reopening the government.
And Mark Meredith is live on Capitol Hill with the details. Hey, Mark.
Ainsley, Lawrence, and Brian, good morning, friends. The blame game continues here on Capitol Hill, even as the longest government shutdown in American history is over. As you mentioned, overnight, 6 Democratic House members voting with the majority of the Republican caucus to reopen the government. The majority of those Democrats were not in favor of passing the Senate package, which reopened the government and funding some departments for several more months. Many Democrats are still furious with a handful of their Senate colleagues who voted to end the shutdown despite not getting anything for their biggest demand, which was more money to help cover Obamacare insurance plans.
For the past 43 days, Democrats in Congress shut down the government of the United States in an attempt to extort American taxpayers for hundreds of billions of dollars. Today, we're sending a clear message that we will never give in to extortion, because that's what it was.
Democratic leaders now facing fresh scrutiny from their own members about why the shutdown is ended without winning anything major in return. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries insists, though, that putting health care front and center will pay off.
House Democrats will continue to fight to address the health care crisis that Republicans have created. And House Democrats will continue to fight to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits for tens of millions of Americans. This fight is not over. We're just getting started.
And Democrats are looking at other legislative maneuvers to try to force a vote on these Obamacare subsidies. But of course, there will be a lot of other questions about how effective that'll be. The Senate will have a vote at some point on, I believe, next month about whether or not to actually put that on a full vote for them to have to decide on these subsidies. But also, I have to mention, guys, you may notice it's pretty quiet here. It's not just because it's 6 a.m. These lawmakers, they're already leaving town again. They'll be back in town next week to get back to regular business. Lawrence, Ainsley, and Brian, back to you.
You would think they'd stick around for a little while. Is there any unfinished work they need to get done?
I guess not. I mean, you can tell, again, it's pretty quiet up here, and we're not expecting any news conferences, any meetings, anything major, I believe, until early next week.
All right, so you can go home for the day, Mark. Thanks a lot. Just
well, I can't even. I'd fly out, but I can't catch a flight. You know, the airports are a mess, so I got stuck here with you guys. Yeah.
All right.
All right, we'll take you. We'll keep you, Mark.
Maybe you can use the company chopper.
That's
right.
Do
you mind if he uses it?
We'll have to get Sean's approval.
Yeah, okay, we'll have to check that out.
Well, the struggles are not over for the Democrats. They're divided. They have a major problem. Who's their leader? Is Chuck Schumer in? Is he out? Who's going to take his place? Why did some deflect? Why did some go with the Republicans and others didn't? It's a mess. Here's a montage of AOC and some other progressive House members on Schumer's leadership.
There's no one vote that ended this shutdown. We are talking about a coordinated effort of 8 senators with the knowledge of Leader Schumer voting to break with the entire Democratic Party in exchange for nothing.
I think we're in an unprecedented moment that, demands that we consider whether or not it's the time for new leadership.
Do you think the Senate Democrats need a new leader?
Yes, I do, but that's not in my hands.
Right. Mostly House members speaking out, but Cory Booker did say that he thinks maybe Chuck Schumer should be replaced. But I just don't understand. So you're mad at Chuck Schumer in March. Then he gives you the longest shutdown in history. Nobody else was able to keep a caucus together that long. And then because he had people finally cave after he begged them not to 2 weeks ago, now he's the bad guy. I don't want to jump on his side. I'm looking at this fight, and I'm just saying, anybody who's condemning Chuck Schumer, what was your plan? The Republicans are never going to give in because they just wanted a continuing resolution. They didn't want anything. They wanted to continue negotiating on the appropriations bills. What you do is you negotiate in the appropriations process, the committee process, to get what you want. And you got to do what's possible.
I think, Lawrence and Brian, that they're mad. I think they're mad because they lost this fight. They kept the government closed for a long time. That was their goal. But then eventually there were so many Democrats that caved, they lost their fight. They need someone to blame.
Right.
So Chuck Schumer did not stand up for what he knew was right in New York City when you had someone that was clearly saying anti-Semitic tropes in New York City, and now he's the next mayor of New York. He did not stand up for what he's voted for his entire career. And it was all about one person, AOC. She has the energy of the base. She was asked a question about Chuck Schumer, and is she going to run? And she dodges it.
Should Chuck Schumer stay as minority leader?
I think what is so important for folks to understand is that this problem is bigger than one person, and it actually is bigger than the minority leader in the Senate. And Senate Democrats have selected their leadership to represent them. And so the question needs to be bigger than just one person. We have several Senate primaries this cycle. I know I'm being asked about New York. That is years from now. I have to remind my own constituents because they think that this election is this year. We actually do have Senate elections this year. And my hope is that people across this country actually participate in their primary elections in selecting their leadership. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, quick prediction, Jeffries is next. They're going to get rid of him next. First, it was Schumer. They're not happy with Jeffries as well. They don't like his alignment with AIPAC as well. They have been very critical of how he does things. They really don't respect him. They took all their guidance from Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi kind of protected him. But now that she is retiring, I believe he is going to be the next target.
Prediction. By the midterms, regardless of what happens, they vote on leadership, and Chuck Schumer says, take me out. Just like Mitch McConnell says, I'm stepping back and I'm going to retire in 28. Because she says, why are you asking me this now? It's 25. He's not up till 28. So it's not even worth discussing. We're going to discuss this next year at this time because there's going to be a battle for leadership. Remember how long it took Kevin McCarthy to get the speakership, and why did he lose it? Because he did not want to shut down the government. He said, I have to sign a continuing resolution. They said, hey, you caved, you're weak. We're going to make a change. Or a handful of people did, like Matt Gaetz. Meanwhile, as I mentioned before, Cory Booker, on the passage of this funding, he was asked about the future of leadership. He said the Democratic Party needs to change. It is time for a new generation of leaders to stand up to Trump. And to all those complicit in sabotaging the American dream, our country needs to come back. Americans deserve better. And if the Democratic Party is to deliver, new leaders must rise, stand, and fight. So they're good friends, and he's calling for Schumer to go.
Well, it's good news for flights. Hopefully flights will be back in order by Thanksgiving, right?
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.